Welcome to Zoe Stories. My girlfriend tricked me into becoming her sissy roommate. I never thought I'd end up like this. 2 months ago, I was just a regular guy named Jason, 26 years old, working remotely as a freelance software developer, living in a shared apartment on the edge of downtown with my girlfriend Emma. Life was comfortable, predictable. I wore jeans and hoodies, worked late into the night, and avoided confrontation like the plague. In other words, I kept my head down and my secrets buried. Emma, on the other hand, was the opposite of me: vibrant, outspoken, fashionable. She worked as a stylist and part-time influencer, constantly filming beauty tutorials and unboxing hauls. Her personality filled any room she entered. She had this way of getting what she wanted without ever raising her voice. And maybe that's what first drew me to her. Her confidence, her energy, the way she never seemed to hesitate. But there was something she didn't know about me. Something I hadn't even fully admitted to myself. I liked women's clothes. Not just a little. Not just a passing curiosity. For years, quietly, secretly, I had fantasized about what it would feel like to wear them. To walk in heels. To run my fingers over silk. To see myself in the mirror not as Jason, the quiet tech guy, but as someone softer, more graceful, feminine. Of course, I never acted on it. I'd browse sites late at night, looked through fashion blogs meant for women, and once even filled a shopping cart with dresses and lingerie online before losing the nerve to check out. I told myself it was just curiosity, a fantasy, something that lived in the shadows. Then Emma moved in. She filled our place with color, perfume, makeup palettes, and stylish outfits hanging from every doorknob. At first, I kept my distance, but I couldn't help myself. When she was out, I'd open her closet and just look. Sometimes I'd press a blouse to my face or slip on a bracelet. Just to feel something. Just to pretend. I knew it was dangerous, that I was playing with fire. But nothing could have prepared me for the day Emma caught me. Except, she didn't catch me like I expected. There was no screaming, no tears, no calling me a freak, no breakup. Just a slow smile and a curious glint in her eye. She tilted her head and asked, "Do you like playing dress up?" I froze. My throat went dry. I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry, It's okay, she said softly, stepping closer. I think it's cute. I didn't know what to make of it. Was it a trap? Was she just trying to humiliate me? But her voice was gentle. Her touch was real. That night, she did something I never expected. She helped me put on one of her dresses. It was tight, short, and shimmered like champagne in the light. She even brushed my hair, dabbed some lip gloss on me, and took a picture. I thought that would be the end of it. A one-time indulgence, a strange little kink she was willing to humor. But instead, it became a game. "Let's try heels next time," she said the next morning, sipping coffee like nothing had changed. "Want me to do your makeup again tonight?" She'd tease when I looked too long at her vanity. Every step deeper made my heart pound harder. I knew I was crossing a line. But each time I looked in the mirror and saw not Jason, but someone prettier, I felt a thrill I couldn't explain. She gave me a name, Jessie. And the more she used it, the more it stuck. "Jessie, can you pass me my flat iron?" "Jessie, you should totally try these leggings." "Jessie, let's paint our nails tonight." At first, it felt like a secret between us. Something naughty and intimate. She started taking photos, videos, always with my permission. She said it was just for fun, her sissy roommate. She joked once, though her tone had an edge I didn't quite understand. I didn't know it then, but that name, sissy roommate, wasn't just a joke. It was a hint. And the story of how I got tricked into becoming her full-time sissy roommate was just beginning. Because that night, as we lay in bed, her fingers tracing little circles on my arm, she said something that made my stomach twist. "Jason," she whispered, "what if Jessie wasn't just a game? What if she was real?" I turned my head. "What do you mean?" She looked at me for a long time, eyes unreadable. "What if we moved to a new place? A bigger apartment? And what if we told everyone that Jessie was my new roommate? Just two girlfriends living together?" I stared at her. Are you serious? She nodded. You're already halfway there. I bet you could pass. And no one would have to know. Not even your parents. Not your friends. Just Jessie and Emma. Think about it. We could be so free. Free? It felt like a trap. But also, maybe the most tempting offer I'd ever heard. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, turning it over and over in my mind. What if Jessie was real? What would I be giving up? What would I be gaining? The next morning, Emma was already up, humming softly as she folded laundry. A pink lace bra dangled from her fingers. This would look adorable on you, she said with a wink. I opened my mouth to protest, to ask her if she was joking. But the words never came. Instead, I nodded. And that's when everything started to change. Emma was serious. I kept waiting for the moment she'd pull back, laugh it all off as some kinky experiment. But no, she started making plans. Real ones. About moving out of our current place and into a new apartment across the city, a trendier neighborhood, closer to the shopping district, with a second bedroom she claimed would be perfect for Jessie's wardrobe. And somewhere along the way, I stopped questioning her. Maybe because a part of me wanted this. Emma handled everything. The rental applications, packing boxes, setting up viewings. She told our landlord we were breaking the lease because she wanted to live with a girlfriend. I thought she meant it in the casual way. Roommates. But when the new lease was signed, she updated our social media to reflect it. New place with my bestie, Jessie. Sparkling heart high-heeled shoe, #roommate vibes. That post got dozens of likes and comments from her friends, girls I'd met at parties, colleagues from the salon. Not one of them suspected. No one wrote, "Wait, isn't that your boyfriend?" No one asked who Jessie really was. They just accepted it. And with that, so did I. The day we moved in, Emma handed me a key with a pink glittery keychain that said Sissy mode on. I should have laughed, but the weight of it in my palm felt real, like something final. Time to settle in, roomie, she whispered, giving my ass a little smack. Tonight, we celebrate Jessie's first official night as my girly housemate. That evening, I stood in front of the mirror in the new bathroom, staring at the reflection looking back. Jessie. Wavy auburn wig clipped into place. Foundation smoothed out with the same care Emma used on her own face. Fluttery false lashes. Glossy bubblegum pink lips. The outfit she chose for me was almost too perfect. A skater skirt that hugged my hips and ended mid-thigh, a cropped pink tee with Princess in Progress across the chest, and matching white thigh-high socks. She even painted my nails a shimmering lilac earlier in the day, giggling the whole time. I felt ridiculous. Exposed. But also beautiful. The butterflies in my stomach weren't just nerves. They were something deeper. Something intoxicating. I felt alive in a way I didn't understand yet. We had wine on the balcony. She took pictures. A lot of them. Smile, Jess, she said. Show off that pout. I posed. Awkward at first, but gradually easing into it as she cheered me on. Every snap of the camera made my heart race. I should have been mortified, but instead, I felt powerful. Sexy. Feminine. Afterward, she uploaded a story on Instagram, just the two of us, arm in arm. Just two girly roomies taking on the world, it read. Again, no one questioned it. Not even my own friends, who barely noticed my absence online. Emma had thought of everything, even helping me create Jessie's own private social media account at JessieDoll. And from that point on, Jessie became more than a secret. She became real. But with that new identity came internal struggle. I still had work meetings during the day. Zoom calls where I appeared clean-shaven, hoodie-clad, the picture of masculine normalcy. But every time I closed my laptop, I transformed. Emma started a schedule, something she called FemTime. From 6 p.m. to bedtime, Jessie had to be in full femme mode. You need consistency, she said. Practice makes perfect, and I went along with it. Dutifully. Obediently. Sometimes I'd find myself sweeping the floor in a pastel apron and matching slippers. Other times I'd sit at her vanity for hours, learning how to contour my cheekbones, how to apply liquid liner in one smooth stroke. Emma was patient but strict. "This isn't playtime," she said once, tapping a brush against her palm. "This is training." One night, while wearing one of her slinkier camisoles and a velvet choker, I finally asked her, "Why are you doing all this?" She didn't hesitate. "Because I see something in you," she said. "Something you're afraid to admit." But Jessie? She's not scared. She's brave. And I want to see her fully bloom. Her words stirred something inside me. Guilt, confusion, but also something like longing. Was I brave? Or just too weak to stop this? The next day, she left me alone in the apartment while she went to work at the salon. She kissed my cheek and said, "You know the rules. When I come back, I expect to find Jessie." That was the first day I dressed on my own. I waited until the front door clicked shut, then walked slowly toward the wardrobe Emma had filled with clothes just for me. Everything from frilly blouses to pleated skirts, soft sweaters, bodysuits, even lingerie and drawers she carefully labeled. It was overwhelming. I hesitated. And then I reached for a lavender turtleneck crop top and paired it with a white tennis skirt. I fumbled through the makeup bag, unsure if I was doing it right. I painted my lips a dusty rose. I put on sheer stockings, my hands trembling as I smoothed them up my thighs. I even tried a pair of low heels. Then I caught my reflection, and I froze. I looked passable. Maybe not like a full-on woman, but certainly not like Jason anymore. My heart pounded. I felt vulnerable, exposed, and the most intense thrill I'd ever known surged through me. But that thrill quickly shifted into fear. I kept glancing at the clock. Emma wouldn't be home for hours. But what if she came back early? What if someone knocked on the door? What if a neighbor saw me through the window? I moved through the apartment cautiously, afraid to pass by mirrors in case I didn't recognize myself. And that's when I heard the door handle rattle. The door didn't open. Just a neighbor. They jiggled their keys into the unit next door, totally unaware that a boy-turned sissy was trembling behind the kitchen counter, dressed like a flirty college girl on her way to brunch. I exhaled deeply. But the panic didn't fade. It stayed, lingering like a shadow as I paced the living room in heels I didn't know how to walk in properly, tugging nervously at the hem of my skirt, praying the lipstick on my teeth wasn't smudged. When Emma came home later, she found me curled on the couch, still dressed, still dolled up, but shaken. Her face lit up the moment she saw me. "You did it," she whispered. "All on your own." I nodded, unsure whether to feel proud or ashamed. She walked over and cupped my chin. "Jessie, baby, you're stunning." And just like that, her words broke something open in me. I started crying. Not because I was sad. Because for the first time, I wasn't sure who I was anymore. That night, Emma took things further. "You've earned something special," she whispered, leading me to her bedroom. I thought she meant sex, but instead, she opened a small velvet box. Inside was a dainty silver necklace. The charm said "Sissy Roommate." She fastened it around my neck like a collar. "This is who you are now," she said softly. "Not Jason. Jessie. My pretty little sissy." I should have objected. I should have ripped it off and screamed that I was still a man. But instead, I leaned in. I kissed her. And when she kissed me back, I melted into her arms. The next few weeks blurred. Emma was relentless but kind. Always pushing. Always coaxing. She enrolled me in an online voice training course. Bought me a posture corrector to keep my back straight. Even replaced our full-length mirror with a transformation mirror she custom-ordered. It had lights, a camera, and a button that saved snapshots of my daily progress. "You're evolving," she whispered one night as we looked at the photos side by side. "And it's beautiful." Every part of me was slowly being reshaped. I started walking differently, sitting differently, thinking differently. I stopped gaming and started watching makeup hauls and girl vlogs with Emma. I learned about color theory, wig maintenance, perfume layering. Even when I wasn't dressed, I still felt like Jessie. Like Jason had faded into the background, and this new identity was devouring everything that used to be me. But then came the turning point. Emma decided it was time to go public. Not just among her friends, but with mine. You can't live a double life forever, she said. The world needs to meet Jessie. I panicked.
No.
No way. My friends would lose it. My parents. They barely even call you anymore, she interrupted. And the ones who matter? They'll accept you. Or they don't deserve to be in your life. It was easy for her to say. She wasn't the one who had to risk everything. But she insisted. And Emma always got her way. She planned a girls' night at our apartment. Just a few people, some of her coworkers, her best friend Nadia, and, to my horror, my old college roommate Ethan. I told him you'd be here, Emma said. As Jessie. You what? I told him you were experimenting. That you're happier now.
And you know what?
He said he was cool with it. My stomach twisted. Ethan was chill, but he wasn't that chill. We'd gone to frat parties together. Hooked up with girls in the same dorm hallway. The thought of him seeing me in a wig and skirt made me want to throw up. But Emma just smiled. You're ready. The night of the party, I sat in front of the mirror for nearly 2 hours. I wore a floral mini dress, soft waves curled into the wig Emma had styled. My makeup was near flawless. She'd even let me borrow her silver anklet. My legs were freshly shaved, my perfume subtle but sweet. I looked like a different person. And when the doorbell rang, my entire body seized. Emma answered. Voices filtered in. Laughing.
Chatter.
High heels clacking against the hardwood floor. I peeked out from the hallway, Nadia, 2 other girls from the salon, and then
Ethan.
He was taller than I remembered. And far more attractive than I expected. I felt my throat close. Emma called out, Jessie, come meet everyone. No escape. I stepped out, legs shaking, hands clasped nervously in front of me. All eyes turned. A beat of silence. Ethan's mouth opened slightly, then closed. He blinked. Whoa, he said finally. Jess. I nodded, heart hammering. Then, to my shock, he smiled.
Damn.
You look hot. Everyone laughed. I blushed furiously, but smiled back. I couldn't believe it. He wasn't mocking me. He wasn't disgusted. He was flirting. The rest of the night was surreal. Ethan kept giving me little looks, compliments. He asked questions about the makeup, the clothes, my name. He even helped me pour a drink at the kitchen counter, brushing against my arm just a little too long to be accidental. I hated how much I liked it. And I hated even more what Emma said after the guests left. I saw the way he looked at you. I didn't answer.
He wants you.
I turned away, but she grabbed my chin again. Jessie, she whispered, would it really be so bad to let someone else see how pretty you've become? I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was afraid, but because part of me wanted Ethan to look at me like that again. I woke up to the smell of coffee and the sound of laughter. Emma was in the kitchen with Ethan. Again. This was the 3rd morning in a row he'd just stopped by after the party. And every time, he stayed longer. He talked more. And every time, I found myself dressing just a little cuter. A little tighter. A little more like someone who wanted to be seen. Morning, sleepyhead. Emma chirped. Ethan brought croissants. He smiled. And one especially for Jessie. I tried to keep my voice light, my tone soft like Emma had taught me. Thanks. He winked. Emma watched the entire exchange with something unreadable in her eyes. Later that day, when Ethan finally left, I asked her directly, why is he really here? She tilted her head, pretending not to understand. You invited him. You keep inviting him. Emma didn't flinch. Because I wanted you to see how others would respond to Jessie. I wanted you to understand how real she is. I swallowed. You wanted me to like it. She smiled softly. I wanted you to realize you already do. I turned away. My throat burned. Was this your plan the whole time? I asked. Make me your little doll, then push me off to some guy so I'd forget who I used to be? Emma stepped forward.
Her voice was low. Steady. No.
My plan was to help you become who you really are. But maybe, she paused, maybe you're mad because I was right. That night, I stared at myself in the mirror for hours.
Who was I?
Jason, the gamer, the guy with no fashion sense, no direction? Or Jessie, the girl with gloss lips, carefully plucked brows, soft curves under a padded bra, and tight-waist cinture? My phone buzzed. Ethan, hey. You up? I didn't respond. I just stared at the screen. And then, I called him. We met outside the apartment building, away from Emma. Ethan lit a cigarette. Didn't think you'd actually come. I folded my arms. Neither did I. He looked me over. Slowly. You look amazing. I shifted awkwardly in the miniskirt I shouldn't have worn. Stop. I mean it. His voice lowered. You don't have to pretend with me, Jessie. Hearing my girl name in his voice did something to me. Something dangerous. I'm not pretending, I whispered. And before I knew it, he kissed me. It was warm.
Rough. Real.
And when I didn't pull away, he knew. I didn't tell Emma. At least, not right away. But guilt clung to me like perfume I couldn't wash off. She knew something had happened.
Of course she did.
She always knew. You let him kiss you, didn't you? She asked one night, folding laundry like we weren't about to erupt. I froze. She didn't look up. I gave you everything, Jessie. I shaped you. I trained you. And you give him the reward? I tried to speak. It wasn't. Her voice snapped. Don't lie. And for the first time, I saw what I'd become. Her project. Her puppet. Her pet. You never loved me, I said. Her head snapped up. I made you love yourself. No, I said, my voice trembling. You made me forget who I was. A long silence. Then she whispered, exactly. I moved out 2 days later. Ethan helped carry my things, clothes, wigs, makeup, forms, shoes. All the pieces of Jessie, now packed into boxes. We found a small apartment nearby. He said he didn't care if I still wanted to figure things out. That he liked me either way. For a while, I believed him. But the truth? Even when I was out of Emma's orbit, I still dressed. I still curled my hair. Still wore the perfume she liked. Still walked with a sway in my hips I couldn't unlearn. Jessie wasn't just a phase. She wasn't something I could box up. She was me now. And maybe she always had been. Weeks passed. Life with Ethan was different. Quiet. Supportive. Free. In ways I hadn't expected, but also full of awkward silences and lingering questions. He didn't ask me to dress up, but I did anyway. Not for him. For me. The first time I wore one of my older Jason outfits, baggy hoodie, jeans, no makeup, I barely recognized myself. It felt like wearing someone else's skin. I'd become used to the softness of Jessie's world. The way heels made me feel taller, stronger, even when they hurt. The way lip gloss gave me courage. The way being called she didn't feel wrong anymore. And yet, there was still something missing.
Emma.
I hadn't spoken to her since I left. Until one morning, I found a small envelope taped to my new door. Inside was a single photo of me in the first dress she ever put me in. On the back, written in her familiar looping script, "You never really left." I stared at the photo for minutes, heart pounding, hands shaking. And then Ethan walked in. "What's that?" I didn't answer. He stepped closer and took the photo from my hands. His face darkened. "She's messing with you." I stayed quiet. "You're not going back to her, are you?" "I don't know." His jaw tightened. "Jessie, she controlled you. Don't forget that." But I couldn't forget what she gave me either. She didn't just dress me up. She awakened something. Uncovered something I never knew existed. Maybe I hated how she did it, but I couldn't hate what I had become. "Maybe she knew me better than I did," I whispered. He stared at me, searching for something in my face. "You still love her?" I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. Later that night, after Ethan had gone to bed, I pulled the photo back out. My eyes, wide, nervous, shimmering with the glow of discovery. My lips painted pink. My hands awkwardly folded over a plaid skirt. The image wasn't perfect, but it was real. That girl in the photo was scared, but she was also alive. And then I noticed something I hadn't seen before. A second note, folded and hidden behind the photo. Meet me at the cafe.
Saturday.
Noon. If you're ready to stop pretending you're not her. I read it again. And again. Was I ready? I stood outside the cafe. Hair curled. Light blush. Flowy blouse tucked into a cream-pleated skirt. Low heels. Jessie. My hands trembled. I hadn't seen her in so long. What would she say? What would I say? I stepped inside. The bell above the door chimed. I scanned the room. And there she was.
Emma.
At a corner table. Stirring her coffee like she hadn't just ripped my world apart months ago. She looked up, smiled, and patted the seat across from her. I froze. One step forward. Another. My heart thudded louder than my heels on the floor. I reached the table. She looked me up and down, then said softly, "You came back prettier than ever." And then,